You may have noticed that inflation has been increasing in the news. You may have also noticed an increase in the cost of groceries and other bills. Cost increases can be stressful. However, by making a few changes to your financial plan, you can reduce the impact on your household budget. In this video, we'll talk about the effects of inflation and how to protect your money. If you like this type of content, we would appreciate it if you subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to be notified. So now, let's get started. Shall we? Firstly, do you know what inflation is and how it affects us? Inflation is basically the loss of purchasing power. When the price goes up, the cost of everything rises, from food and housing to all kinds of services. It's normal to have inflation over time. For your understanding, the cost of $1 in the year 1920 would now cost around $18 due to inflation. So as the prices rise, people's ability to buy things decrease, as well the value of money. In other words, when inflation rises, means that each unit of currency is now worth less than it was a few months ago. Even if don't change anything about how you live your life or what you buy every day, your spending will increase. This can have a significant impact on your finances. This might lead you to be concerned about your savings, as the value of the money you have saved decreases. Many Americans, for example, have never before saved, made a restricted budget, or invested in an economy with such high inflation rate. Here's how experts recommend you spend your money in the coming months. Step number 1. Create a budget. Creating and sticking to a budget is a very important step in financial management, especially considering the recent inflationary pressures in the market. According to a recent survey from Debt.com, an increasing number of Americans are using budgeting to stay on top of their expenses. In 2021, 80% of respondents said they budgeted their expenses, up from 68% in 2019. So if you have not already created a budget for yourself, now is the time. Keeping track of your spending and identifying cost-cutting opportunities can help you stay ahead of rising prices. There are a few straightforward ways to save money that you can implement, such as reviewing and canceling any subscription services you don't need, comparing prices online before making purchases, and opting for generic products when shopping for groceries. Inflation can be a difficult force to deal with, but you can protect yourself and your finances by keeping track of your spending and being aware of where your money is going. Budgeting is an effective tool for assisting you in this process. Step 2. When prices are rising, every penny you can save counts. Tracking your spending is also a very important step you should take to effectively manage your finances. You can identify areas where you can cut back and make better use of your money by keeping a record of your expenses. Also, reviewing your bank and credit card statements from the last few months is a good place to start. This will show you where your money is going and where you might be able to make changes. Consider areas where you may be overspending as you go over your statements. Example, do you pay for a streaming services you never use? Do you eat out more frequently than you cook at home? Do you have a gym membership but haven't used in months? You can reduce the impact on your budget by cutting off extra spending in these areas without having a significant impact on your day-to-day life. Step 3. Pay down high-interest debt first. As inflation continues to rise, the central bank may take steps to curb consumer spending by raising interest rates. Higher interest rates can make borrowing money more expensive and increase the cost of existing debt. For most consumers, the most significant impact of these rate increases is on credit card debt, which can become more expensive over time. To avoid these additional costs, it's critical to pay down any outstanding credit card balances. It's important to remember, however, that you don't have to pay off all of your debts at once. If you have a fixed-rate mortgage, your interest rate was set at the time of closing and will not be affected by rate increases. In fact, your mortgage interest rate may be lower than the rate of inflation, making it a financially sound decision to keep paying it off over time. Instead, prioritize the repayment of variable rate loans such as credit cards. When interest rates rise quickly, your minimum payment may only cover the interest, with no money going toward the principal. You can help pay off debt faster by making payments that exceed the minimum. It's also a good idea to go over your loans and see if you can refinance them at a lower interest rate. Step 4. Have an emergency fund. Before considering making investments, it's crucial to establish a solid financial foundation known as emergency fund, especially as inflation continues to rise. Building this foundation includes setting aside enough money to cover unexpected expenses. Despite this, a significant proportion of Americans don't have enough savings to cover a $1,000 emergency. Experts advise prioritizing paying off any debt and establishing an emergency fund before investing, even if the interest earned is minimal. It's not that difficult to create it. You can start by determining your monthly expenses, trying to set a savings amount that won't compromise you and your budget, of course. A good rule to help you is to aim for 3 to 6 months worth of expenses to have a broader view of where your money are going to and how much are possible to save. Then you open a separate savings account specifically for your emergency fund. This will help you avoid dipping into it for non-emergency expenses and to see more clearly your money grow. Then you set up automatic transfers from your checking account to this new account on a regular basis, so you're consistently saving money towards your goal. Lastly, reevaluate and adjust your savings goal every month to see if you can increase the percentage saved. With a solid emergency fund in place, you can have peace of mind knowing you're financially prepared for unexpected expenses. On top of that, you can keep this fund in a high-yield savings account, as it serves as a safety net in the event of unexpected expenses and should not be risked for the sake of earning more interest. Step number 5. Learn about the bond market. The bond market is an essential component of the overall financial market. Bonds are essentially loans that investors make to corporations, governments, or other entities in exchange for a fixed interest payment over a set period of time, which are issued by the U.S. Treasury and linked to the Consumer Price Index. They are able to provide a reliable source of income for investors, paying interest regularly, adjusted every 6 months based on inflation, and they can be cashed out after 1 year. Another option is TIPS, or Treasury Inflation Protected Securities, which can be used for long-term investments. However, it's important to remember that both options have investment limits. And now, step number 6, which is make investment in your home. In the recent years, we have seen a rise in home prices, which is a good news for current homeowners as their equity grows. However, for those who are looking to enter the housing market, may find high prices been a significant barrier. The rising of interest rates can have a negative impact on the market. Experts suggest that renters should wait a little longer before pursuing their dream of buying a house. Homeowners, on the other hand, may want to consider investing in their current home before purchasing a new one. Despite rising building supply and labor costs, home improvements can still be a cost-effective option as long as home prices rise. This is supported by economists' predictions that home prices will continue to rise despite the recent increase in mortgage rates. Homeowners can not only improve their living space and increase their property value by investing in their current home, but they can also potentially save money in the long run by avoiding the high cost of purchasing a new home. Now, besides all these 6 steps, we need to keep our eyes on what's going on in the economy around the world. With those stimulus checks, meme stocks, and also crypto, the market has been full of oddities and opportunities that have prompted many people all over the world to begin investing in recent years. However, with inflation on the rise, it's clever to put some money into investments that are linked to it. Nevertheless, creating a regular budget, paying off debt, and establishing an emergency fund are essential in times like this. I'll leave here 2 other videos that will help you make better investments, and another video with amazing tips to help you avoid investment mistakes. That's all for now. We hope you enjoyed our video. If so, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others. Please also consider subscribing to our channel. If you haven't already, remember to enable the notification bell so you don't miss any of our new uploads. Finally, thank you for watching and see you next time.